maybe I can propel myself.
Boy. Boy. I feel like an apology should be at the bottom while this is happening. Whoa! Have we never discovered this about our chairs?
I'm really revving up.
Can you believe it?
I think it's the black jeans.
We gotta muffle that.
Yeah, put the blanket over me. Let me trap it.
Is that dude wearing his own blanket? Hey, dude. It's a farting dude wearing his own blanket over here. Can I try?
You have a chair too.
No, I want you to stop so I know that it's coming from my chair.
Oh, God. That's the only way you'll know.
Well, they won't know.
All right, try it.
I gotta do this though.
You want to wear a blanket?
All right, so there's a couple of other France stories we want to tell you that we didn't get
You gotta
to.
put your knees up. Yeah, get a lot of pressure in 1 point. 2 points.
Which points?
Your butt points.
Move that way a little bit.
You got a high pitched one, huh?
Excuse me.
You're not very good at it. Oh, there you. You're going. No, that's what you can't do. You can't look like you're relieving yourself. I almost said revealing yourself. Don't look like you're revealing yourself. Okay,
Oh
so
man, I'm laughing so hard I got to pull out my tissue.
So one of the things that happened in France was we noticed pretty early on in our time there that when you ordered coffee that they brought you essentially just espresso, which is great, tastes great, actually tastes better, but it's a small amount, and we're Americans.
I'm used to the ritual
Venti.
of sipping coffee for a long period of time. I'm used to that ritual. So when the coffee is really small and potent, I miss that ritual.
Right. Well, I mean,
but I'm not going to be the one to ask for it either.
But like 2 days into the trip, I did
this right
figure
here.
out that if you ask for cafe au lait, coffee with milk, they're like, oh, he doesn't want espresso. And I also deciphered that, when you go to any coffee shop, any highfalutin coffee shop, there's an Americano.
You're talking here in the States.
Here in the States. And all that is espresso mixed with water, which is actually a really good drink. I figured out, they ended up making that in Italy or wherever, and they called it an Americano because the Americans wanted something that resembled coffee, but they don't have a lot of drip coffee.
They wanted
They
more
have
liquid.
espresso, so they're, let's just mix it with hot water, and the Americans will think it's coffee.
Now, we kind of knew all of this, but, our timetable's totally off by 9 hours. So in the middle of the afternoon, I'm like, I need a cup of coffee. I got to have a cup of coffee. And I mean right now. So then I'm like, we're walking down the street, and I look, and I go, there's this people at a restaurant, outdoor cafe.
Oh, yes.
And so I go up to the woman, and I'm like, I'd really like some coffee. And like you're behind me, and you're like mumbling something, and you're like second guessing something about what I'm doing, and I don't know what's going on. And then you like lean forward, you're like, this isn't a coffee shop, this is an actual restaurant. They've got white tablecloths. You can't just go up there. And I was like, well, it's outdoor seating. And then I want coffee. So she's like, she brings another guy over, and then she points around the corner. I'm, okay, they're gonna point us in the direction of the nearest coffee shop. And then we walk around the corner with the guy, and we realize, no, the guy is seating us, but they won't give us a prime table just to drink cafe. And they take the white tablecloth, take it off of the table, and put us in a corner of the outdoor patio seating, and then sit us down there to order our coffee.
Yeah. So to give a little background, we were like, hey, we need coffee. Let's go to a coffee shop. You see the first restaurant that we would come up on. It's
That's
a white.
what
It's a white table. So I'm
said
telling
all
you what
that.
I was thinking.
Yeah.
So I'm just like, why is Link going to a white tablecloth restaurant when we could probably go another half a block and get to an
Well, I told you what I was
shop?
thinking. I didn't notice, man.
You didn't notice. So I was a little embarrassed.
And then I thought they were sending us to another restaurant around
which
the corner.
I also thought. But then we ended up sitting down, but we were kind of like, and I'm really conscious of this whole like Americans overseas, because we have a reputation
Yeah.
for doing things like going up to a restaurant where you're not supposed to go and get
I
coffee.
want some coffee.
Give me some coffee and get rid of that tablecloth. I'm going to sit here and drink my big cowboy coffee.
I didn't ask to remove the tablecloth.
And I'm sensitive to that, so it seemed like we were kind of just doing that kind of obnoxious American traveler thing. So I was just
or
like,
it seemed like your friend, your traveling companion was doing that.
You're right.
Me.
Well, and then we also sat down and like immediately like started talking loudly to our children on video chat. It was like it was a little obnoxious, but I was like, whatever. I don't want to start an argument here. But the French waiter noticed that we were Americans and that we had come in, and he for all he knows, he didn't see the initial setup. So for all he knows is, here are these Americans. They've removed the tablecloth and they're sitting here. They won't. And so he comes up and he's like, "What do you want?"
He looks at you first.
And I said, "Can we get some coffee?" And he said,
And then you were like drip coffee? And you're like drip coffee.
And he says, "Drip coffee? What? No. He said, I said, "We want some coffee." He says, "Coffee's a big word. You're in France now. Be more specific."
What?
Coffee's a big word. You're in France now. That's what he said.
Wow, all right.
He said word or world? I thought he was saying coffee's a big world. Like there's a
No, he said coffee's a big word.
meaning. There's lots of different
Meanings
things.
for the word coffee.
And I said like drip coffee, and he was
Drip.
like drip. He was like making fun of me. It was the typical obnoxious, annoyed French waiter, and so. But then we said cafe au lait. I think that's how we ended up ordering it.
I think that's when we learned how to do that. So from then on, that's what we
Okay.
ordered. So we didn't have this thing again. So I embarrassed us by sitting down at the place, but then you embarrassed us by doing the whole drip.
Well, what did you want me to say? Coffee.
I was quiet. I just wanted you to say something.
Yeah, you wanted to put me in a situation where it's like, I'm just gonna sit down here. We're gonna start talking to our kids. You order the coffee that you didn't even want, in the way that you want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I haven't gotten an apology about that thus far.
I don't know his number.
Yeah.
I also don't speak his language.
Yeah. Apology from you to me for putting me in that situation. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, apology is a big word.
But the other thing that I did notice, just while we're on the subject,
I'm sorry, Rhett.
another thing that I did.
I'm sorry he didn't have drip coffee.
I noticed that you and your wife would do is we would be like in the airport, and y'all would be like walking down the bridge to the plane. You would be saying things like "Bonjour," like loudly.
Yeah.
You definitely totally reinforcing the American stereotype.
I couldn't help
No,
myself.
we would be like in a restaurant, and Link would be like, "Oui, oui, garçon," like really loud, and like me and my wife would just both be like,
Yeah, there was a lot of you guys putting your hand in your hands.
embarrassed. But
Yeah.
but that doesn't. You're not embarrassed by that.
When I'm feeling good, man, it just comes out, man. I mean,
So if there was a
I'm like-
if there was a French person who visited the South, and he's like sat down at a barbecue restaurant, and he was like, "Y'all got some pig?" And he was like, that's what was happening.
no, I acknowledge that.
But
I'm just saying. You asked me why I do it.
But how would you feel about that guy? You'd be like, "That guy's having a good time making fun of me."
I'm not trying to defend myself.
Oh, you're just having a
I'm
good
not.
time.
I'm not defending myself. I'm saying I just had a good time, and that's what came out when I was feeling like, hey, look at me.
Bonjour.
Like,
No, and then you started saying "Jour bon." That's another thing that
No, I
happened.
didn't.
Yeah, you did.
no, I didn't.
Yeah, you did. I was there.
Well, my wife may have also said gracias a few times.
she said gracias to the. I'll let you tell that story. It's not my wife. I don't want to get in trouble.
No, I'm not saying whether she did or didn't.
Oh, she may have.
Right. But somebody else said something else in Spanish, and I think it was you, where you said, you didn't say "s'il vous plaît," you said what's please in Spanish?
Por favor. I didn't say por
You
favor.
said por favor.
Not,
You did.
Not to any French person. I said it when we were talking amongst
But you said it
ourselves.
sincerely.
Oh yeah, I said it sincerely.
You said it sincerely
But I
because
didn't say it to an actual
you don't
French
when you
person,
don't know the other language, you just start speaking
Por
any
favor.
language that you kind of know a little bit of.
which I know very little. Very little.
Yeah, I fully acknowledge that I learned a lot and that I would do things differently. I'd be more sensitive, but I would have given a more calculated effort to speak French because I felt like I knew so little French that I would sound stupid and that people would laugh at me. But really, when you do that, it's kind of this humble approach that, like when you would go up and you would say bonjour, they would respond immediately with hello. They would start speaking English because they knew how you say bonjour, that you don't know what you're saying.
Right.
Or you have no clue how to speak French.
Obviously speaking English.
But that is a much better gesture. But in retrospect, I'm struck with the amount of calculation it takes to do that. You have to make a decision. I'm going to try to speak French because that actually that's endearing. And I do acknowledge that many times my instinct did the opposite. Like when we were in London, like when we were in line, like at Heathrow, I was like, "Oh, you want to come get in line?" It's like I was like, "Oh gosh."
So are you learning to think a little bit more?
But I wasn't.
Speak? Is that what?
But I was
where
talking.
You're going
I was
this?
talking to you.
Yeah, I saw some people cut their eyes at you when you did that in London too. They were like, "Is he for real doing that?"
Yeah. Well, I've never been out of the country before.
That's true.
It's what can I do?
You have been to Jamaica.
Could you? I mean.
Hey, Mom, I'm here.
Well, was that Jamaican? Okay, learn what you can at our expense. We made it back, and we continue to reminisce. Our lives have forever changed. I'm going to buy a scooter.